This podcast is presented by Zack Labs, Cosbon, the instant costume adhesive. Have you ever had issues using materials to build cosplay costumes, theater props, or everyday repair? We have the solution you've been looking for. Zack Labs proudly presents our latest product, Cosbon, the instant costume adhesive. What you get is a 8.5 by 12 inch sheet. You simply peel off both sides much like you would double stick tape, except this isn't that. This is our patent-pending microfiber-infused adhesive that has a tensile strength of up to 100 pounds. This unique adhesive sheet is instant, and boy, do we mean instant. Activation is different than other products, as ours works purely by pressure. Simply peel and stick, applying even force, and it bonds. Instantly. It's human-safe, non-toxic, pet-safe, no fumes, and the best part, it won't ever stick to your hands. Rated for up to 75 wash cycles before starting to give. Great in the cold, rain, and even the heat. Stick anything to almost anything. Metals, plastics, most cloths, and best of all for all you cosplayers and costume builders, is all of your foam materials. While it does stick instantly, leave it alone with a bit of pressure for 24 hours and it cures to even stronger. So wave your magic wand and just use Cosbond, the instant costume adhesive. You are listening to a Dynamic Works Productions podcast. This show is available on iTunes, Stitcher Radio Network, and many, many more podcast services around the world. You can find all our content, music, videos, books, podcasts, and more on our website, www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Have questions, comments, or concerns for us? Head on over to the social tab on www.dynamicworksproductions.com if you'd like to talk to us. Now, on with the show. What's up, Fork fam? Welcome to another episode of the Fork in Your Ear podcast. I'm your host, as always, author, podcaster, gamer, Tim K.A. Trotter. And Mike, my faithful steed, has been put down temporarily. He's been tranked. With me today is the one, the only, from the Fork fam and RNG community, Burning Wing.
What's up, everyone? How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Been all right. Been lazy day, so.
I do believe Saturdays were meant for lazy days. So we've got more or less a regular show for you today, and Mike may or may not be calling in at some point during the show. Essentially, the reason why he's not here is his internet has completely shit the bed, not just at his house, but I guess in his neighborhood. And like his neighborhood is like in blackout internet at the moment, which sucks because I had some internet trouble last night. As most people know, we are recording our new show, The Fork in Your Path, an actual play RPG cast on Fridays. And right in the middle of a game, my internet shit the bed, but only for like an hour. So it's unfortunate that Mike's internet all the way back east is has crashed, essentially. So, well, why don't we get to know our good friend Burning Wing here a little bit better? So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a pretty boring guy most of the time. It's work and family for me. So
okay, fair enough. Do you mind talking about what you do for work?
Yeah, I'm actually an experimental mechanic for Textron Aviation.
Oh,
So
well, that
basically,
sounds
what that
interesting.
means is I build all the new airplanes, the first ones, all the ones we test, in the first like two or three normally.
Well, that sounds pretty cool.
It can be. It can be a real pain in the ass sometimes too.
This explains why there's like great avionics debates and stuff between you and Nate Fu on the chats
Yeah,
because that is your guys' life.
yeah.
Fantastic. How long have you been doing that?
It'll be 12 years total.
Wow. Is it what you've always wanted to do?
Yeah, I've always wanted to work with airplanes in some capacity. When I was a little kid, I wanted to be a fighter pilot, of course.
Sure,
But
sure.
it's hmm.
Oh yeah, no, keep going.
Oh yeah, it was just it kind of evolved from there. I wanted to be A&P mechanic, which basically that means you can work on any airplane in the United States, no matter what. And
Cool.
then I went through that training, ran out of money right before I finished, so
Hmm.
I couldn't finish it. And then I got my job with Textron. At the time, was just Cessna aircraft.
Oh, okay.
Um, and then I just kind of bounced around Cessna, got laid off, went to Spirit, which used to be Boeing. It gets complicated.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm back at Cessna, which then bought out Beach, and they formed Textron Aviation.
Oh, okay. Where are they out of?
They're still in Wichita.
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, that's quite the bopping around slash lineage of companies buying each other and stuff.
Yeah, it can get kind of confusing, especially, and it gets kind of heated sometimes between the old Cessna crew and the old Beechcraft crew,
Hmm.
because Beechcraft guys, they're used to doing it their way. Cessna's used to doing it
Oh,
their way,
great.
and they're not the same.
Oh, that's
So
that's not good. So there's a lot of conflict with people in the
there can be,
building.
yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. Has that how long ago did they like buy what was it, Beechcraft?
Yeah, so Cessna bought Beechcraft, or Textron, which was Cessna's parent company at the time, bought Beechcraft uh, 3 years ago, I believe now.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and yeah, I think it's been about 3 years. And the main reason they wanted it was Beechcraft has a nice big facility on one
Mm,
side of Wichita,
yeah.
and Cessna's kind of shoehorned next to the airport in Wichita, so they don't really have much room to expand.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So it
So
was more of a real estate play.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, fair enough. It happens in business.
Oh yeah,
Well, still, I mean, that's a cool job, I suppose. You know,
yeah.
especially if you're into aviation and aeronautics and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. So how'd you get into gaming? You just
Well,
always been a gamer, or?
yeah. Originally I started out on the original Game Boy. That was my very first system.
Oh, that's a good system to have.
And I still have the original Game Boy, and yes, it
Oof.
does work.
I mean, they're built like a brick shit house, so you know.
They are.
I mean, unless the batteries, like corrode and like fuck up the contacts, those things will run forever.
Yeah. And so I kind of fell out. Like I got a Sega, I played it for a little while, but then I kind of fell out, and I didn't come back till the end of the PlayStation era, PlayStation One,
Oh, okay.
and then I've had PlayStation 2, 3, 4, and I've had Xbox 360, and now I have the Xbox One as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Which of the current consoles do you prefer right now?
I main PlayStation, but I enjoy the Xbox UI and everything better.
Hmm, that's interesting.
So I just have a community, I guess you could say, that I'm a part of on PS4. We all play a lot of different games. The main
Yeah,
one being Destiny.
yeah,
But
yeah. I mean, yeah, that's something that I know I've been complaining a lot on our inner circle Fork Family Discord is like all of my friends, like, because like I was 360, like I've never been like, oh, one console's better than the other, and I'm like really dogmatic about it necessarily, because like when you're a kid, it's like, okay, well, you have a console, and like your neighbor maybe has a different console, and so like if you really love gaming, you're like, man, I'm gonna make money, and I'm gonna have all the consoles when I grow up.
Yeah.
Screw this. So I definitely endeavored to do that, but like it frustrates me because it's like all my friends were like on Xbox 360, and then Xbox One kind of bungled their launch and made a lot of people who were like Xbox diehards go PlayStation. And so that's where like my multiplayer community is, with a few exceptions, obviously. We were talking pre-show. We played a bit of Sea of Thieves together, and it's like you can't play that on the other platforms, since it's a Microsoft product. But it's yeah, I guess it's just frustrating because it's like I feel like PlayStation and Xbox have done similar cycles. You know what I mean? Like the Xbox 360, PS3 era, it was like PS3 had this terrible interface and their online sucked, and then towards the end of their life cycle, they were really doing good. And they'd made so many great strides, and they obviously continued in PlayStation 4, and then Xbox was like, hey, we can do no wrong. Let's do a ton of wrong right at the start of the console generation and turn people off to the console. And now, like I got an Xbox One X for Sea of Thieves, also because like I swear to God, my original Xbox One is haunted. I have had as much problems with my original Xbox One as I had with my old school fat PS3, with like crashes and just plain like I don't even know, like it's haunted.
Really?
Yeah.
You see, I still have the original PS3. It's actually upstairs in my bedroom.
So do I. All my stuff is still hooked up.
I have the 60 gig one, and I have not had one problem with that thing ever in the whole time I've owned it.
I think I had a 60 gig originally, but I on the PlayStation I'm a hard drive upgrader. So I've got what's the max I think that takes I think it takes a terabyte.
That sounds a little too high for a PS3, maybe 500.
Well, it was, but then they made some modifications to their FAT 32 that basically looked at two partitions as one partition. It was way later in the life cycle though, like within the last 2 years. And so like I have like tons of PlayStation 3 games, not just because of what I have on there already, but also, good old PlayStation Plus keeps on giving the goods. And I'm a avid collector. Like I don't like to throw things away or whatever, like this Game Pass that I have now on Xbox, and it's like, oh man. Yeah, I'm a person who filled up a terabyte Xbox One X along with a external 2 terabyte hard drive.
That was the nice thing when I had Game Pass was like I played Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
But then I was also like, man, I want to play Halo. I want to play Gears of War. I want to play. There was a racing game on there I wanted to play too. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, are you a racing guy?
Yeah, I love racing games.
Sweet, because like I never find, especially in the gaming community, even though I've been doing podcasts forever, and I know Mike and all this stuff. Like nobody ever has any love for racing. Like Mike hates it, my girlfriend hates it, with the exception of Mario Kart. And it's like I like racing games. You know what I mean? So like, what's your poison for racing?
Well, my all-time favorite has been Gran Turismo. Being said,
I played a
Gran Turismo
shit ton of 2.
Oh yeah, 2
on PlayStation
2 was so good.
It was
2 was so
super good. It was way ahead of its time too.
Yep,
so good, so good.
But the current iteration of Gran Turismo has left me kind of soured on it.
Yeah, most people have gone over to Forza.
Sport is just horrible. It's like you go in there and you got, I think they're up to 110 cars now.
Well, and you heard the kind of retcon that they're doing recently, right? Where they were like, oh, we're not going to do microtransactions and treat this as a platform. Only numbered sequels. And then they're like, hey, welcome to microtransactions. And it's now a platform.
Yeah, that's right. I did hear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I think they have gotten beaten up by Forza, though, to be honest.
Definitely they have. I mean, as of right now, like I'm looking to get, what was it, Forza Horizon 4? Is that the one coming out?
Yeah, that's the one that's coming out.
I'm looking to get that one.
I'm stoked because Horizon 2 is
Free to
Games with
play.
Gold.
Yeah, I got that. I downloaded that one.
Yeah, which made me happy. It's so funny. Like, so, I had a long, like, I was adverse to the Forza games for like the longest time. Because like I've had the Forza Horizon 2 demo on my Xbox One since I've had an Xbox One. And I've played the crap out of it. Fantastic demo, loved the music, all that sort of stuff. But like, what kind of made me not get into it, other than the fact that I only had literally one friend to play it with, which is definitely a deficit, was the price just never lowered on it. Like anytime I'd ever look at it used, it was always like $45-$50, and I was like, man, when is the price on this damn game gonna come down? And then they had they threw out Forza Horizon 1 on Games with Gold a year ago or something, and I played the crap out of that. I was like, oh man, I should really just go to 2 and then get the rest of them. But I didn't, because I play a lot of games and things get left behind. And now Forza Horizon 2 is finally there, and I'm like, yes. And then the others are on Game Pass, so it's like, okay, it's about time.
Oh, did they come to Game Pass finally? I heard they were going to, but I didn't see it.
Yeah. They're coming to game. I can't remember if they're there now, but they were announced along with the Halo Master Chief Collection as coming to Game Pass as well. Because they made a statement like last year, I think, when they announced Game Pass, that it was like, all first party Microsoft games coming to Game Pass, and it kind of, they took their sweet ass time on that statement.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I think I've got Forza 7 on Game Pass on my Xbox One right now.
Okay.
So I think it's there. Don't quote me on that. I don't know. I bounce around on games.
Yeah.
But that's cool. I'm glad to meet another racing guy, and I'm probably an odd racing guy in that I love racing games, but like I'm not like a motor or a car head or something like that, like in real life. But I love racing games. Like I just love the idea of racing. And like when I was growing up, we actually had a derby track, probably 15 miles from where I'm recording this now. And so we had like just these, old fashioned, just a classic oval track. We had like all these, local derbies, and let's see, there was what do they refer to them as, the funny or the clown cars, and then the I don't know, you might know better than me, but they had like about 5 different classifications.
Yeah, price, Brent, midget, outlaw.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. And so like we used to go there, and I remember having it with tons of fun. So I don't know. I like
well, I was actually at a demo derby last Friday here in town. They do one every year, and they had figure 8 racing.
Oh,
and
that's always great.
Probably the best part of the whole event was the figure 8 racing. But like the derby wasn't bad, don't get me wrong, but the figure 8 racing, they were getting after it.
Nice. Yeah, and I've been to a couple of drag strips. We've got one 60 miles from here that's somehow managed to not get, because the problem was like, so that racetrack got shut down 5 years ago here because they decided to build a frickin' suburbia right next to it. And then of course everybody in the suburbia complained about a noise ordinance, and then they're like, well, the derby track's been here for 50 fucking years. So you should have known this when you bought the house, assholes. But they eventually got it closed down. It was so sad.
So I grew up in Wichita. I don't currently live there, but they have an old speedway called 81 Speedway, and it's called 81 because that's the highway it's off of, is 81 Highway.
Makes sense.
And then they also have a drag strip, but both of those are probably good 25 miles outside the city of Wichita to the north.
Okay, cool.
But they're slowly getting encroached on, like you were saying, with the suburbia stuff. But
Yeah, I mean, it honestly just kind of like I get it, suburbia complaint and all that sort of stuff, but at the same time, like if they've been there, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they were there first. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't really have that kind of right. It's like you don't build your house next to the fucking steel mill.
Right.
Like unless you work at the steel mill and don't want to commute, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't make any sense. Do you play other racing games besides I guess like uh realistic or sim?
um, it was mainly Gran Turismo that I used to play. That was Sim. I did do some of the Forza stuff back in the day when I was on Xbox 360.
Uh-huh.
Couldn't really get into it then. It was the triggers for
Oh,
the
yeah.
gas and the brake, and I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it was about it.
I, I
But
think I think like I think the 360 had better triggers than the PS3, but I do agree that the earlier Forza games, like they were good games, but um they didn't like have that, I don't know, technical code magic between like how you're pressing the trigger and how it reacts. You
yeah.
know what I mean? And I feel like
Hmm.
that's something that they definitely nailed in the Xbox One era.
Yeah, I need to. I haven't tried the Horizons 2 yet, but
Oh, you should give it a try. Because the other thing about Forza Horizon 2, it was one of the few launch games that uses and everybody forgets this, but the Xbox One has impulse triggers. It doesn't just have the big rumbles in the left and right. It's got little mini ones in the actual tips of the triggers. And
oh
so, like
really?
when you're clutching and braking,
Uh-huh.
oh, it feels so good. Feels
Hmm.
so good. So like in real life, when you fall asleep and you drive over what do you call it?
Rumble strips.
Yeah, the rubble strips or whatever that try to wake you up when you're on the highway.
Yeah,
Like you can feel that in the controller
that's
in
crazy.
in Horizon 2 and some of the newer ones. And just like that was something that always, excuse me, I'm burping a lot. Um that was just always something that I thought was like really cool. And something that nobody's really taken advantage of on the Xbox One, which is kind of sad. Um, like I can think the Halo games maybe did some stuff with those rumbles. It's really bizarre because if you compare that to, um, have you any love or played around with the Nintendo Switch?
No.
Well, they have what they dub HD Rumble, and it
Hmm.
works like well, I guess you're an engineer, so you're probably somewhat familiar with like how a rumble pack typically works in a controller.
Hmm.
It's like the weighted counter on a
Yeah.
motor. So like if you take like some of the haptic feedback stuff in like an iPhone or some of the newer Samsung stuff where they've got like linear oscillating vibrations.
Yeah.
So imagine that, but on three axes.
Oh wow.
So it's actually not only is it rumbling, but it's rumbling in a direction that you can feel in
Yeah.
your hand. And that's what the rumble or the air quotes HD rumble does in the Nintendo Switch. So you can feel different vibrations and directions. It's really wild. Um, and it's something that it's something that the Xbox One controller could potentially do since they have 4 points of rumble. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But it's only taken advantage of just barely in like some racing games and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. It's funny to me because it's like, why wouldn't you use this technology? Like, and the only thing I can think of is like cross-platform kills it because like on PlayStation 4,
Yeah.
you just have your standard. You have your high frequency vibration and your low frequency vibration. That's it. And then rumble coders don't want to bother. I guess I don't know. I got
Well,
way off
a lot of
topic
people,
here.
a lot of people hate the Rumble. Like I've heard
Really?
a lot of people say they turn it off, or
Mm.
like on the Scuff controllers, you can get them with or without. Like a lot of people just
Oh
delete the
wow.
Rumble altogether.
Huh. I mean, I've
It's,
I've heard that for scuff people for sure.
yeah.
I don't know. I guess I've just always been a fan of like things that like forward the progress of like video game controllers. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
it's like I mean I remember when and I guess you missed this era, right? like the N64 Rumble Pack?
Yeah, never. I've played N64 off and on, but I never had one.
Well, did you ever play it with a Rumble Pack?
No.
Okay. Well, it like
I know what you're talking about. It's that little package you put in the bottom of a controller, though, right?
Yeah. It was in a word, it was really fucking strong. Perhaps too strong for the little it has a little like push pin clip that holds it in there, and like sometimes it would rumble out of of the thing. Like the sucker was powerful because it had its own. It was powered by. Ooh, my memory's forgetting me. It was either two AA's or two AAA's. Like it had its own power source. And it could do like low, like it was only one rumble motor, and it could do low and high, but it's like it was insanely strong. Like it was too strong. So I could understand perhaps there's maybe like some stigma from that era in them being like too strong, because now, with how they've, miniaturized stuff and done different frequencies or split them up between two different rumbles. Yeah, there's many a time where I was playing like Star Fox or Legend of Zelda or something, and I'm like in the middle of a thing, the rumble pack rumbles out and falls onto the floor, and I'm like, God damn it. So, anyways, well, shit, that was all kinds of crazy talk I was not expecting to get into. That's fantastic. You're fantastic, good sir.
A little bit of RNG on the fort.
Well, I mean, we do RNG, so as you may or may not be familiar with, we spin a ring to determine which topic we're generally talking about on the show.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna do that now and get into the nitty gritty. Because how much time do I have you for?
I gotta leave at 15 after, so you got about 45 minutes.
Okay, thank you. All right, well then let's power through it. All right, the ring has been spun. The first thing that we got to talk about is entertainment, and there is quite a bit of that going on.
Yeah.
So what entertainment things do you got to talk about, good sir?
HBO with the Watchmen full series getting the order.
Yeah, are you excited for that?
I kind of am.
Oh, good.
HBO tends to do everything really well, or at least here of recently.
Sure.
So hopefully they can take that and do it justice.
Yeah, I mean, like I think I've talked about it on Fork before, and like I'm excited that it's Damian Lindelof, co-creator of Lost. I think he's a good writer, particularly his work on The Leftovers. I don't know if you've seen that series.
No, I've heard of it.
It's also on HBO. He like just finished it a year ago, and it's like really it's really dark. Like, do you know the general plot?
No, I think I've seen a commercial or two for it.
Basically, the gist is like everybody like wakes up one day, and like half the population's gone, and everybody's like, "What? Why?"
That reminds me of another show that was like that. Was it like 900 or something like that? 9,000?
Oh, the 100.
The 100. Is that what it was?
Or no, not the 100. That's the CW. You're thinking of. Oh, I know it. They had powers and there's aliens and stuff.
Yeah.
It was older. God damn it. I watched this show. I have it on DVD. If I could leave this room. Like, it's on my shelf. Oh my God. Why am I forgetting this? This drives me crazy. Okay, this is gonna drive me nuts. All right, to Google.
To the Google machines.
The 4400. That's what it was. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Not like that, because they never come back.
Okay.
Like, it's just like the basic thing. Even
though
like
the rapture happened.
Yeah, it's literally like, I think if you read a box quote, is like, "What if the rapture happened?" Question mark. Like, and that's it. Like, they don't come back. Like, don't expect them to come back in the show. It's just like, what? Like, why? Like, how do people live after this?
Mm-hmm.
I think like the opening 30 seconds of the show is like a pregnant woman gets into a car crash, and she's screaming that she can't feel her baby in her womb anymore.
Oh,
and so
wow.
you're just like, oh no.
Okay.
Well, that's HBO dark.
A little bit.
But anyway, it's coming from that dude. He spearheaded that show. It ran for 3 glorious seasons. It was one of HBO's underrated little cult classic kind of shows. And it was really good writing, really like introspective and like made you think and that sort of stuff. And I would assume, since you're excited for the show, you're familiar with the Watchmen comic.
Actually, no. So
Oh, really?
everything I've really seen is off the movie, and I enjoyed the movie.
Oh,
And
man.
I've heard the movie's not the greatest, but
Okay, so I read, I didn't read it when it came out. I read it in the early 90s. But the original Watchmen 12-issue comic book series is like, it's one of the greatest comic books, but also like one of the greatest pieces of writing I've ever read in my life. Like it is unimaginably good. And even though it was written in the 80s, and it's set in like, I think it's set in the 80s as well, in its story. Like you can read it every decade, and it's still just as topically relevant as it was back then.
yeah.
My complaint with the movie, I actually thought that they did a really good job right up until the ending, and they completely changed the ending, and I'm just like, you can't do that. And I understand why they did it, because they were afraid that audiences wouldn't accept it. So, spoiler alert for an old ass movie and an old ass comic book. Sorry, folks. So in the movie, right, it was like a bunch of nuclear bombs or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the comic book, Dr. Manhattan, the blue guy, he basically rips open like another dimension, and this like giant alien space monster comes in and consumes all of humanity. Totally different than nuclear bombs.
A little bit.
Like, I mean, like, it was like a complete, like, what the fuck is happening at the end of this comic book, and everybody is dying and or getting taken over. Like, this is so fucked up. And like, and I know, because I've read a bunch of stuff about the production of the Watchmen film, that they were very skittish to do that, because they're like, yeah, I don't know if people are really gonna follow or understand what's going on with this sort of gut punch ending. So let's go with something that maybe they could understand: nuclear bombs. And I was like, oh, that's a pussy way out. And so when it comes to this series, I know I've talked about on the show that Damian Lindelof like wrote this letter earlier this summer, and he was basically saying like, the comic book is totally the Bible, and I don't want to fuck with that. However, what if we just did Watchmen like completely differently? And so I'm just like, the term he used a lot is like, what if we did like an honest remix of the Watchmen for modern times? You know, he's like, let's not try to like copy things panel per panel. Let's try to take what the essence is and what the messages were, and try to distill them into a new modern interpretation. And I was like, okay, maybe. We'll see. But either way, I guess it's filming in October, and it'll premiere around that time next year. So we're looking at October or fall of 2019, I think is what we're looking at, right?
Yeah.
Sweet. So, well, I mean, that's interesting, though, that you're excited. So you must have really liked the movie then.
Yeah, I did. It was. It's been quite a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean,
but
it came out like, what, almost a decade ago at this point?
2009. I just looked it up.
Oh, yeah, so almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
I was right
Almost.
on. Yeah, did you watch any of the director's cut or extended editions?
No, I never did any of that. I normally do, but for that one, I just never did.
For that one, that's actually really good, because they cover a ton of other material that was also in the comic book. And I think there's an ultimate director's cut that both has the director's cut and the extended edition, plus this whole other like sub film that they did that's also part of the comic book, and it's like combined and like it's all edited in like a 4-hour movie. It's actually really good, and really respectful. Again, until you get to the end of the film, and they don't do what they did in the comic, which just that infuriated me so much. That's like, it's like the equivalent of like if someone like redid The Empire Strikes Back, right? And Darth Vader dies or something. Like that's how I felt in the movie theater. So yeah. Anyways, coming next year. I hate bringing this up every week, but there's always news on it. So, MoviePass has once again changed its shit. I'm just so... I mean, God bless them for, like, staying in the headlines, I guess, right?
Yeah, all pub's good pub, right?
I mean, I guess. I'm still a MoviePass holder, so I don't know. So two things. One, shareholders are suing MoviePass. Classic. And MoviePass changed their how you do stuff with them again, and it reduces its available film lineup to 6 to 7 titles per day. And that's not, oh, you can see 6 to 7 titles. That means you're limited. Your selection is down to 6 to 7 titles. And I actually took a look at my MoviePass just this morning when it rolled over so I could see what was available today. And I just don't even know anymore with MoviePass. I gotta be honest. So like last weekend, like I wanted to go see Mrs. Impossible. I was gonna see Mission Impossible with my girl, but she ended up not wanting to go to the film. And then also, it wasn't on MoviePass or whatever because it was like part of their transitioning from the thing that happened last week with them changing their fucking terms. And so then she's like, okay, well, we'll go next weekend when it's available on MoviePass. And so the article that I posted in our Fork Discord, which everyone is welcome to join, go ahead to Get Forked Pod on Twitter and click the link there. They specifically said that big titles like Mission Impossible and Jurassic World would like be taken off of the thing. And yet I looked at the thing this morning and like I've totally have all of the available showtime to go see Mission Impossible. So I'm like, I'm so confused. Like, I guess it's just one of those things it's like a newspaper now. I have to check it every day to see what's in it. So
yeah,
you know,
it's funny you bring that up because I retweeted a Screen Crush article earlier today, I think.
Oh yeah,
giving you 9 different options of MoviePass. Like,
yeah, because there's tons of competitors.
Yeah, I didn't realize there were that many. I didn't realize there were 9. Like, I knew Cinema and I knew AMC and
well, AMC's is new. They started just this year, which makes sense because they're a big movie chain, right?
Yeah,
you know,
and it's supposed to help. And from what I understand, it's supposed to give you some extra add-ons that you wouldn't normally get.
Oh, what, AMC or Cinema?
AMC is.
Oh, like, yeah.
Like,
yeah. Theirs is 3 movies a month, and I think it's like $12 or something. And if you want to see 3D or IMAX, it's just like a couple $1 surcharge.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like, you know, like I'm
totally 3 movies a week.
Was it 3 movies a week?
And it's $20 a month, 3 movies a week.
That's pretty good if you see a lot
AMC
of movies.
sub A list with no blackout dates and no limit on titles.
See, I would do that, except my nearest AMC is 40 miles away. It's also where the nearest IMAX is. And like I personally love AMC theaters over my local theaters, which are Regal.
So yeah, we can get into that if you want.
Oh?
So I live 50 miles southwest of Wichita. I live in a little town.
Okay.
So if I go see a movie, I have to go up to Wichita to see it. We had, and I'm not sure, you probably haven't heard of them before. Maybe you have. It's Warren Theaters.
Yeah, we don't have those over here in Washington.
Right. They were only in Kansas and Oklahoma because it was Bill Warren that owned them. Okay. He was kind of a local business tycoon.
Yeah.
Probably out of any movie theater you've ever been to, probably top 5 for a movie, period. Don't care what you compare it against. It was probably top 5.
Okay.
Regal came in and bought them.
Oh, no.
Right? Bought them for
so
over $1 billion, I think.
If you listen to a place and are not understanding what that means. So, okay, so let me clarify. I don't hate Regal. I've seen movies at Regal my whole goddamn life. Except Regal, in comparison to AMC, especially in Washington, they are kind of like the shit chain brand.
Well, you see, and so Warren's, like, I've seen the steady decline of the Warren theaters. Like, he had nice, clean theaters. Everything was spotless. Everything was upkept. Regal came in and bought his theaters just as they were. And there's three of them. Or 4, sorry. There was one downtown, one east, one west, and then there was they called it a second play movie theater where it was stuff that wasn't in the actual theaters anymore. It was getting ready to come out on video.
Okay.
So they came in and bought all those.
Yeah.
And you have seen a steady decline of quality there. And they even sold off the second play theater, and now it's some restaurant, which had been in Wichita for 30 some years.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it sucks, and I think there's 2 things at play. I think one, I don't know about your movie ticket prices in your area, but like matinees here are $12, and then like a main prime time is like $18.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and it's like it, I mean, true with everything, inflation and all that sort of stuff, but it doesn't stop the fact that like going to a movie theater, especially if you have a girlfriend or you have a family, that's $50 to $100 right there.
Yep.
So if you want your $20 popcorn.
So me and my wife went to see Deadpool 2. We went to AMC. So AMC just opened one like 5 months ago here in Wichita. They only have one, cool. And it has like eight screens.
Okay.
And everyone kept telling me it's much better than Regal, much better than Regal. Because I decided I'm not going back to Regal because I just saw it was just getting to me how much they had declined.
Yeah. So
we went to AMC. Just the tickets were $37 for me and her to see it.
I mean, I believe it.
I don't even think that was 3D either.
Sure.
So I'm like, all right, we both really enjoyed AMC. It had these nice, cool chairs that you could like lay all the way back in and whatnot.
Yeah. They just have better theaters.
They do. I was just like, really I can't do $37 for just me and her because I have 2 kids also.
Oh yeah. How old are your kids?
7 and 6.
Oh yeah, no, you can't do that.
No. So luckily, and from the sounds of it, this may be the last year for this, but we have a drive-in theater here in Wichita as well.
Yeah.
There's only 3 in the state, and that's the only one in the southern part of Kansas.
Yeah.
You go on Friday or Saturday, you get 3 movies for, I think it's $12 for adults and $9 for kids or something like that. And it's normally 3 movies that you want to see. Like we went and saw Incredibles, Hotel Transylvania 3, and then Solo was the 3rd movie.
Okay.
So I had 2 for the kids and 1 after the kids went to sleep. But we ended up, it was like $29, I think, altogether for us to go see.
Cool.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's inflation. It's the fact that actual Hollywood / California is broke as fuck. And, the prices of just movie theaters in general, just like raising them when you can wait for it to come out on iTunes and it's like $14 to $20 for a movie that you then own.
Yeah.
It's like, of course, like, why not stay home?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I will always love going to the movie theater. I mean, unless it's like, so like we too have we have a movie theater. It's like Galaxy 8, and it's in this shitty town that's like really high crime or whatever. And you can go see like older films that are like right in between like being off of like the main screens and like being on home video for like $2 or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, I've seen tons of movies there, but it's like, you don't. Sometimes you don't wanna.
Yeah. It's like I have a movie theater that's 15 miles away from me in the next town over.
Yeah.
It's one screen, and it's normally a movie that's probably 3 years old.
Yeah. Well,
at best. So.
I mean, so it goes. So it goes. Let's see.
If Buster was here, I know he'd be talking about Jack Ryan coming out on the 31st.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that reminds me of things that came out. So last night on Netflix, from Futurama and Simpsons creator Matt Groening and David X. Cohen, Disenchantment hit Netflix last night.
Oh, wow.
And I watched the pilot episode, actually.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of Simpsons, Futurama?
I love Futurama. Simpsons, I can take or leave. I'm not against them, but I love Futurama.
This is totally more Futurama than Simpsons.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch the whole series, but I thought the pilot was a little, the ship is not quite built yet, and I'll give it the benefit of the doubt because of the prestigiousness of the creators, and there's a lot of the old Futurama cast is in there. Like the King is played by John DiMaggio, Bender. Neighboring evil queens are played by Tress MacNeille, who's of course Mom, and tons of other characters in Futurama. Things like that.
Yeah.
It definitely looks like a fantasy Futurama, like the art style. It's totally, classic Matt Groening. I guess the thing is like, I don't know, the pilot was weird. Like, it was 36 minutes long, and it felt like there was some missing sound effects, to be honest. Like, there was like some times where like maybe people were like walking in the mud or a sword or something, and I was like, and maybe I'm just like a sound guy because I've done so much stuff in sound in my life, and I'm just like, shouldn't there have been a sound effect there? Anybody?
Anybody?
Yeah, and I guess just overall, like, the pacing was felt a little off. But I'll give it the benefit of the doubt because I'm already hearing from people on Twitter. Actually, Danfinity on Twitter just wrote before we started the show. He's like, I fucking love Disenchantment. It's the greatest new show. And I was just like, I mean, does it pick up? I hope it picks up.
Well, I think that tends to be the kind of like his MO though, isn't it? Like the pilot's normally tame.
And then I remember the Futurama pilot being amazing.
Yeah, because
maybe I'm
I don't
biased.
remember it being. I don't remember it being amazing. Like, it was good.
Okay.
And it made me watch another one, but it wasn't. I had to watch like 3 or 4 in order to really get into Futurama.
Yeah.
It's like they were still filling themselves out, trying to get like Bender to do his stuff and whatnot.
Sure. I mean, I will say this: there's like a demon or whatever, and he seems to be, at least from the pilot. I've only watched the one episode. From the pilot, he seems like he's the most well-rounded, like very funny, classic Futurama type of humor. So I don't know. We'll see. We've got I think we've got 10 episodes on Netflix. It's listed as part 1, so I think they're probably doing 10 episodes now, and then I don't know, in 6 months or something, we get another 10 episodes or something like that. I imagine the production's a bit weirder because I was reading some stuff, actually really weirdly on the App Store on my iPhone, because they had like an article or a spotlight or something, and they were talking about that it's like one of the few animated shows that's like animated in 4K, and they're like, yeah, that was a bigger challenge than we thought on the production side of things. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess it would.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. Like, there's nothing wrong with the animation. Like it
Yeah.
looks like an HD Futurama, except fantasy style. But yeah, no, it's on Netflix, so I encourage everybody to check it out and holler at Broken Hero Podcast, later in the week with your thoughts. I know I'm gonna watch the rest of the series for sure. But yeah, it's out now on Netflix. Disenchantment. All right, let's get on the other topics. Quick like a bunny on fire. All right, landed on technology. I don't really have any technology things this week. The only thing I could think of was there's an update to Discord, and their patch notes were very funny and made me laugh.
Yeah, I saw you post those.
And then there was a thing that I didn't post on our Discord about there was a new Motorola phone that came out, except it looks identical to the iPhone X design.
Yeah.
Like, it's got the same notch, it's got the same camera placement. The only difference is where the Apple would be is the fingerprint sensor on the back.
And that's power button, if I remember right.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But I don't understand that. Like, I expect that kind of crap from like LG or like what's the Chinese one? Huawei, or however you pronounce it. But
Huawei.
like, yeah, but not like Motorola. Like, I know they've changed hands. Like, actually, I need to find out who owns Motorola right now. But it just seems
Lenovo.
like it's Lenovo. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, Lenovo owns Motorola.
Well, I mean, but that seems dumb though. Like, why would you, like, I don't know. It just seems really dumb to copy a design so stupidly blatantly when obviously Apple's lawyers have tons of money. You know what I mean?
If I remember correctly, the phone you're talking about might be China only.
Oh, right, where the laws are different.
Yeah. And
that actually makes sense to me.
A lot of the Chinese phones look like iPhones because China actually doesn't like the iPhone that well.
Yeah, I know. They've had a lot of problems with it over there.
Yeah, and so, but they like the design and everything else like it. They just don't like the phone. So, but
fair enough. Fair enough.
There it is.
Oh yeah, I got the article here. I'm dropping it into the Discord.
On the topic of technology, I think I posted it a long time ago, but NVIDIA has been doing this GeForce Now beta program.
Isn't that like PlayStation Now?
No.
Okay, explain it to me. Go for it.
Sort of. All right. So anyways, GeForce Now will take any laptop, and I'm talking any laptop, and make it a gaming computer. Because what it does is, as long as you have the internet speed, what it does is it connects to a computer on their end, and it's decked out to the nines. It's got i7s, 1080 Ti's, all the RAM you need, whatever. You can play whatever you want.
It'd probably be i9s now.
That may be what they have. I don't know. But
sorry.
Anyways, NVIDIA does. And NVIDIA does all the updating on them and everything. So basically, you can take any laptop, as long as it has an internet connection, and run whatever game you want. Well, I have
But I mean, isn't that? I mean, that's the same thing as PlayStation Now, though, because they're running PlayStation games on PS3 servers, and then they're just streaming the video back to you. Oh,
see, I thought PlayStation Now you actually had to download the game.
No.
And then,
it's the Xbox. Okay. The Game Pass on Xbox is you just download it and you pay per month, which is fine, easy peasy. But PlayStation Now it's streaming. So like, even if it's like a really high quality PlayStation 3 game, like say The Last of Us, which would be 1080p, it's gonna stream it to you at 720. Which is a downgrade, but connection-wise, more people can support that. So with this GeForce Now, so again, I have the NVIDIA Shield tablet from like 4 years ago. Okay, so basically the hardware of a Nintendo Switch, gotcha.
Yeah, slightly better than Switch. So I got this tablet, and so since I have the tablet, I have GeForce Now already pre-installed on it.
Okay. Oh, so you've tried it then, is what you're telling me.
I bought D2 on PC to see if I could play it.
Okay, go for it. Tell me everything.
I can. It plays just like the PlayStation, like a PlayStation, but with a wider field of view plus more frames.
Sweet. That's pretty awesome.
But so the thing with that is, though, you can actually stream 4K games with this program as long as you have the speed.
Right, internet-wise.
Right. So, and I think all you need is 100 megabytes up and down, or down. I think it's just down.
It's probably 100 megabits, because 100 megabytes is like...
Yeah, megabits.
That's some godly internet right there. Yeah.
So like if you have 25 or under, they'll stream it to you at 720p, but 60 frames per second. If you have 50 and under, you can do 1080p at up to, I think, 120 hertz.
Yeah. I mean,
and then
like
anything over that,
this technology,
is 4K.
This streaming stuff, like everybody's doing it now. So like, there's that PC thing like ages ago on Live. Nvidia's doing it now. Even very strangely, so like Capcom released Resident Evil 7 for the Switch, which isn't technically playable on the Switch. And it's actually just a streaming app. Like it's streaming from some computer somewhere. It's not released stateside. It's only in Japan. I don't know. And people are saying like, actually this works totally fine on the Switch. There's no reason why you couldn't do this with other games. And so like, it's interesting to me, and I wonder because we all know the Nintendo Switch is running a ever so slightly modified NVIDIA X1, which is very capable hardware. But it seems to me like that... I heard this explained actually in IGN a little bit now that I'm thinking about it. So the way this GeForce Now stuff works is it is streaming from a computer, but they have like an extra... either software or chip or something in their computer that's translating, it's basically like a buffer, and it's attempting to eliminate lag on the controls, which is the problem that people find on PlayStation Now, where there's input lag because you have to upload something, and even though, you know, it's just... I imagine the data for controls being uploaded is way simpler than, you know, uploading a video or something like that. But I guess the way the GeForce Now stuff works is it's got, you know, either a chip or a special software, and it's doing something to help translate those inputs quicker.
Well, it's about got to be software, because like I said, my tablet's 4 years old, and I know this because I got the tablet when I moved into my house down here, and that was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy to me that this tablet, that's basically a Switch, is able to do, and like if I had the speeds, I could do 4K on it with no problem.
Sure.
Like I played the other night for I think 2 hours with the thing, and it didn't even get hot because it's not actually having to do the work.
Right.
Obviously.
Exactly. That's the other thing, you know, and like that's the thing. Like, you know, like for example, like I do have a Switch, and it is very much NVIDIA hardware, across the board under there. But like when I play Doom on it, which is the most insane port onto that thing, it is just insane that even runs the game both as well and as good as it looks. But like that, my fucking Switch gets hot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it is going balls to the walls, just doing everything that it can. You know.
So part of the reason I brought this up though was I have it on my tablet. You know, NVIDIA makes what do they call them? A tabletop TV? Is that what they call them? The Shield TV, whatever that's called.
Sure. I mean, like I don't know, like I have an Apple TV. I consider that like a set top box, but maybe I'm
set top box.
Old
that's
school
what it was.
VHS style.
So NVIDIA makes one like that, right? Yeah. And they call it the most powerful streaming box in the world.
Yeah, I think they won an award for it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Because it does 4K like a champ, right?
It does 4K HDR, like not just 4K, but HDR too, locally, right there on the hardware.
Yeah, I mean, my Apple TV 4K will do that too.
Right. But so the Shield TV actually has the same software, like the GeForce Now.
Yeah.
It also has you can hook up keyboard and mouse to it. I don't remember what they call it. So basically, you go buy this $200 set-top box and have yourself a full-fledged gaming computer that can run anything off of Steam, anything off of Blizzard, or I have Fortnite on my tablet too that I've been playing on like a PC.
Yeah,
but
like H quality version.
Right. So I'm like, so for $200, you can have yourself a gaming PC. So if they can do this, right?
Yeah.
Why the hell can't Sony cross-play yet?
Money. I mean, no. I mean that is the real reason. You know, it's like if you buy your skin on Fortnite on PSN, like they don't want you transferring that.
You don't actually pay for it on PSN though.
On Fortnite, you do, yeah.
No, you still gotta go to Epic's site and buy the money, don't you?
No,
the V-Bucks?
Not on PlayStation.
Really?
Yeah, really. There's it's a link in the store, just like Silver in Destiny.
I
or on the PSN store, I mean.
Yeah, I thought you had to bypass it because I know to get the Battle Pass you had to buy V-Bucks.
I mean, you don't have to buy V-Bucks. You can earn V-Bucks.
Well, okay, yes, but to get 950 V-Bucks or something like that.
They lowered it. It's like 250
for the Battle Pass.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I played like not good last month on Fortnite, and I got this month's Battle Pass. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more reasonable than they think, or than people think, I guess.
Well, it was only going to be like $10, I think, is what the Battle Pass was originally.
Yeah, which originally seemed ridiculous, but how much content Epic's been pumping out in that game has also been ridiculous. So tomato.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. But like, I don't disagree with you. I think, like at E3 this year, didn't Xbox announce that air quotes Xbox was coming to every screen in the next couple of years?
Yeah.
So you can bet your ass that they've got something up their sleeve that's similar to the GeForce Now or the PlayStation Now.
Have you not seen that article?
Which article?
It was. I think it's called like Xbox Air or something like that, or Xbox One Air.
Oh, I didn't know that it had a title.
Yeah, I've seen it several times. Next time I come across it, I'll have to post it. But it's a GeForce Now type of thing. It's Xbox, but it streams everything. Like nothing's actually done there on
the article that I heard recently was that the next Xbox console was going to come in two flavors. There's going to be a full beefcake set-top box like an Xbox One X, and there would be like a minimized like Apple TV or Shield thing that would just hook up and just stream games. That's the rumor that I heard floating around, and I think IGN and Kotaku reported on that. And I mean, it makes sense. Like everybody's moving to that. And then again on that topic, and also from the GeForce Now perspective, like Nintendo Switch is the most popular console. It is selling like insane hotcakes. It could just as easily do this GeForce Now thing as well.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Right?
Well, and the Switch could actually probably benefit more. And
sure.
I've seen people talk about this. They were supposed to have like a virtual console, weren't they, on the Switch? To run like the old.
I don't think there was air quotes supposed to be. I think because there was one on the Wii and the Wii U and the DS and the 3DS, and they have not done one for the Switch. People assume they would, and it's been over a year, and they're kind of angry about it. I know just recently some more details have come out about Nintendo Switch Online, which is launching at the end of September, and they've said that you're going to get 20 NES games that are, air quotes, remastered for the Switch and updated with online multiplayer.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't know, like, they're not like, here's what it is and exactly this and this thing and this thing. They're telling you some things, but not everything, which is kind of weird.
Typical Nintendo.
Yeah, it is typical Nintendo, and it's frustrating because Nintendo's been really good at communicating just in general with the Switch.
Yeah.
In fact, I read an article just the other day about oh my god, what was it? Because the other thing, I guess we're just gonna bleed over into video games now. Video games spun. Oh, look where it landed. Diablo 3 was announced for the Switch yesterday.
Was it actually announced? I've seen the leak, but
no, it's trailer and everything, official, completely confirmed.
Wow.
I watched the trailer on the Switch store last night.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's official. But I read an article about it where Blizzard said, yeah, we had a fully functional port in 8 months.
Yeah.
And I guess Nintendo went out of their way and they actually co-developed the port with Blizzard. Because they actually basically sent them an email because they were having some problems translating their graphics software to the NVIDIA chipset specifically for the Switch. And I guess Nintendo just sent them a dev team of 30 people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, no, we want Diablo 3. We'll help you.
Well, it's funny. I've heard so many people say, I will buy a Switch for Diablo 3. I'm like, I can kind of see Diablo 3 for the Switch.
Sure.
If I was ever going to get a Switch, it'd probably be for that.
I mean, it's also, if you look at it in terms of other games, unlike Doom, which is on the Switch, Diablo 3 is an older game, and it already, there's already a 360 and a PS3 version, and the Switch is definitely more powerful than those consoles.
And Diablo 3 is not a graphically intense game to begin with.
Yeah, I mean at the end of the day, like all Blizzard games, it's a Blizzard game, and it's designed to run on a wide variety of hardware and platforms.
Yeah.
Full stop. But it was interesting because in the article they were talking about the port, and they're asking, so is StarCraft and Overwatch and all these other games, are they next for Nintendo? Because it's been 15 years since Blizzard has had a game on a Nintendo console. And then we're like, well, we don't see it that way, but I'll tell you that Overwatch is technically feasible on the console. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's coming next, I'm sure.
That one kind of surprises me because I figured, doesn't Overwatch have the stipulation where it has to run at 60 frames per second?
But here's the thing. I have Paladins on the Switch, and it runs at 60 frames a second. I have Rocket League on the Switch. It runs at 60 frames a second. Yes, constant. Both those games.
Wow. Okay.
And yeah, it's not, it's not a PS4 graphical quality, but those games do run. I take that back. The Paladins port, because it was done in-house, looks really, really amazing, even in handheld, I've got to say. Because I've played Paladins, and I don't know if you're a Paladins guy or not, but it's, it's Overwatch-like or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's better. That's my opinion. Thoroughly labeled as such.
I'm a keen to Paladins thanks to Mike and Des.
Yeah. But no, it looks and plays amazing on the Switch. And Rocket League, which isn't that complex of a game, but it plays at 60 frames a second, and just the graphics are turned down. It runs at 720p, and there's no, this is a dumb thing to say, but it's you've probably seen pictures of Rocket League and or played it, and it's there's grass on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the grass on the Switch is just a flat texture, basically.
Looks like carpet, more or less.
Yeah, but it's also Rocket League, so you kind of don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the game. Whether or not you have swaying grass that looks grassy doesn't really affect your game. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We all played shit on the PlayStation 1, I've seen worse. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a fascinating time because it's I really do love my Switch. I was actually just playing it before the show here because I'm addicted to this game, Dead Cells.
I've seen that one,
which is fantastic.
It looks fun.
Yeah. Are you a fan of Metroidvania type games?
To be honest with you, I haven't played any of them.
Oh, burning. Come on, man. Well, if you're gonna get one, I would recommend that one because it is on all platforms. You can play it on PS4 and any of that sort of stuff. But it's also, I've talked about it last week, but it's like infinite and it's procedurally generated. But it's like procedurally generated in a way that like doesn't feel like you're seeing the same thing over and over. And I've probably sunk at least 10 hours into it already. Like the way they made their procedural generation and the art in this game is just it's fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. Dead Cells. It will destroy your life, but in a good way. I guess that should be on the box quote. Dead Cells. It'll destroy your life, but you'll be happy about
it. Sell millions of them.
Oh gosh. Let's see what else happened in games this week.
Spyro got pushed back. Spyro collection.
For all platforms?
Yep.
Oh, well, that sucks if you're a Spyro person.
I was looking to get it because I'm like, my kids would love this game.
Oh. I know my girlfriend Jessica, her sister is a Spyro fanatic, and she was looking crazy for it. Like she has like Spyro t-shirts and shit. Let's see. I can't remember if I talked about this last week. Uh-oh. Did I lose you? I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I guess I got confused because I saw the thing and you said call again, but that's timestamped at 1:08. My bad. Are we out of time?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go.
Oh, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that's our show.
It's a short one.
Yeah, it's a short one. Sorry. Thanks for joining Burning Wing. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, thanks for having me.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, man. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast. You can find our podcast at www.dynamicworksproductions.com. Feel free to email us at dynamicworks@mac.com.
This is Dominic Armato, the voice of Guybrush Threepwood, and you're listening to a Dynamic Works production podcast.
The Citadel, Arrival, is the first installment in a series of epic science fiction short stories reminiscent of the Pulp Fiction style. It's a fast-paced story that will take you through twists and turns that you will not expect, until they are thrust upon you with all the force, excitement, and chaos of a plasma cannon blast. The story follows Katarl, a nobody cog in the working wheels of a futuristic society run completely by Megacorp, a corporation that carefully runs and manages the lives of the people living under its sphere of power. On one of Katarl's few and far between days off from work, an outing he had hoped would be fun and relaxing turns into an explosive adventure that drags him kicking and screaming into situations and challenges that will make him question every aspect of his life. Watch this colorful tapestry unfurl as Katarl and his newfound allies find their way through this classic, yet oddly surprising tale of good and evil, where nothing is quite what it appears to be. That's The Citadel, Arrival, by author Tim K.A. Trotter, available right now on Amazon Kindle Store and iTunes iBookstore for only $2.99.
Hello?
Hi, I hear voices now.
Yeah, hang on. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're coming through my phone speaker for some reason.
Well, that's odd.
A little bit.
I'll assume from the noise that you're attempting to remedy that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Is that any better?
Talk for more than a sentence.
You're still coming through my phone for some reason.
Well, shit. What kind of phone you got?
You got the Note 8.
I would assume you'd be plugged into the headset jack, right?
No, my microphone's plugged in via USB-C.
Oh, okay.
The thing might work. Hang on just a second.
Maybe there's like a setting or something?
All right, is that better?
Keep talking.
Hello? Hello? Test?
Hi.
Hopefully this works.
That sounds fine.
No? Okay.
Cool. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me.
It sounds like Mike is not having a good morning.
Kind of, yeah.
So he was gonna call in, but now he's saying he's done it in the past and he doesn't want to risk it on the mobile. He says he may call in later in the show if that's okay with everybody, and you just kind of soldiering on with just me. And he says he'll call in and it'll be a "What's up, Fork Fam? My life fucking sucks" kind of thing. So, yeah, I guess we're sort of a man down.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he was gonna call, but he was just texting me this. He was like, "Yeah, it's." I guess he didn't even do RNG this morning, so I was like, "Oh, it's that bad?" He's like, "Yeah, it's that bad." I was like, "Fuck."
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, I don't think we've actually talked to one another live, have we?
Yeah, one time on Sea of Thieves.
Oh, do you have Sea of Thieves? Gosh, when was that, at launch?
Yeah, it was pretty close to launch because I was using Game Pass for it, and I don't have Game Pass anymore.
Shame. It's still good. It's even better now. As you may have been able to tell from previous episodes in which me and Mike continue to play it. Wolves of the Sea. Well, I know you're in a time crunch, so we might as well get into it, huh?
Okay, sounds good.
All right, sweet. So, as you may or may not know, I kind of scream cut in for editing purposes. So don't be alarmed in a couple seconds when I say that.
Okay.
Alrighty. Cut in!